Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to China's Tianjin for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit, it isn't just another diplomatic stop. It's his first China trip in the last 7 years. The stakes are very high, and this actually could recalibrate Asia's power balance. From Galwan's shadow to global trade, this visit may actually redefine India-China dynamics. Take a look at this report.
Narendra Modi's upcoming trip to Tianjin for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit is far more than a ceremonial visit. It marks his first trip to China in 7 years, and it could well reshape the balance of power in Asia. Relations between India and China have always been a complex mix of cooperation and confrontation. The 2020 Galwan Valley clashes were a breaking point. Lives were lost, trust collapsed, and ties sank to their lowest in decades. But 5 years on, New Delhi and Beijing appear ready for what some are calling a strategic reset.
China was ripped up by Xi Jinping and his actions in 2020, which culminated in Galwan, where 20 brave Indian soldiers lost their lives and several Chinese soldiers died as well. Now that was a red line, so to speak, between India-China relations, but things have moved on since then. The relationship is not as adversarial as it used to be in 2020. It looked like India and China were going to go to war, but now that seems to have abated. A better sense seems to have prevailed in Beijing, and what we've been seeing over the last couple of months, beginning with the summit in Kazan, was a warming, a thawing of ties between India and China. There was a certain outreach made by China, and India seems to have reciprocated.
At the heart of this lies India's foreign policy evolution. Gone are the days of Cold War non-alignment. What we see today is multi-alignment, a deliberate strategy to engage all major powers while preserving strategic autonomy. India is not choosing sides, it is choosing options.
आप अगर पुराने रिकॉर्ड देखेंगे, सदियों तक चीन और भारत एक दूसरे से सीखते रहे हैं और दोनों मिलकर के दुनिया की भलाई के लिए कोई न कोई कंट्रीब्यूट करते रहे। ग्लोबल पुराने जो रिकॉर्ड्स है कहते हैं कि दुनिया का जो जीडीपी का था, उसका 50% से ज्यादा अकेले भारत और चीन का हुआ करता था। इतना बड़ा कंट्रीब्यूशन।
Economics is a big driver here. Despite tensions, China remains India's second largest trading partner. Yes, the trade deficit bothers New Delhi, but the reality is India's manufacturing ambitions still depend on Chinese components and raw materials. Put simply, India cannot industrialize at scale without some level of cooperation with Beijing. Security is another key layer. The SCO, once focused on fighting terrorism, has now grown into a platform that offers an alternative to Western-led institutions.
The SCO was established with the primary goal of countering three evils of terrorism, separatism, and extremism, which continue to remain a challenge. Today, as a regional platform, there is a broader range of sectors of cooperation among the SCO members.
For India, active participation ensures its voice is heard in multiple forums without getting trapped in one-sided alliances. Border management is perhaps the most immediate concern. The revival of the long-dormant Special Representatives framework is a breakthrough. Both sides are exploring early harvest solutions, resolving simpler segments of the contested border first, leaving harder disputes for later. It's pragmatic, if not ambitious. Then there's the American angle. Washington's tariff war, particularly under Donald Trump, has rattled New Delhi. India still values its partnership with the US but doesn't want to appear overly dependent. Engaging China helps India widen its options and sends a clear signal. India will not be boxed in.
साथ होना ना सिर्फ बेनिफिशियल है बल्कि ग्लोबल स्टेबिलिटी और प्रॉस्पेरिटी के लिए भी जरूरी है। और जब 21वीं सदी एशिया की सदी है, तो हम तो चाहेंगे कि भारत चीन के बीच में स्पर्धा सब स्वाभाविक है। स्पर्धा कोई गलत चीज नहीं है। ये संघर्ष नहीं होना चाहिए।
But let's be clear, this is not a love story. Beijing's tight embrace of Pakistan and its growing naval footprint across the Indian Ocean remain red flags for India. Old suspicions cannot be wished away. Still, the ripple effects of Modi's China gambit could be significant. A revived Russia-India-China trilateral, dormant for over a decade, may re-emerge as all three grapple with Western pressure. That would be a big shift in global power politics.
I mean, these are two countries who are neighbors. They lost trust over Galwan and other issues. It is time for these two civilization states realize that neither one of them are going anywhere, that there has to be a resolution to the issues in there. Trust has to be built slowly based on actions, not words. But you have to start somewhere. And while you can have suspicions about anybody, you can point to this and that. The issue is, what is the future? You want a future under the United States where, whoever is in power is going to dictate what you do. And if you fight back, you're involved in an asymmetrical conflict, which is very difficult to win. Or do you want to be a proud nation that determines its own future in a multipolar world where consensus, right, and cooperation are the main key elements?
In truth, Modi's Tianjin visit is not about resolving every dispute. It is about creating space. For China, easing tensions with India blunts America's containment efforts. For India, engaging China while staying close to the West is multi-alignment in action. The world is moving towards multipolarity. Whether China and India can compartmentalize their rivalries while cooperating on shared interests will determine not just Asia's stability, but the very architecture of the global order. And that is why Tianjin matters. With Farhan Khan, Bureau Report, India Today Global.